preparing when nothing is on the horizon. I think that this is, an age-old saying. And I think typically on this channel we do repurpose and allude to, expand upon age-old sayings. Prepare when nothing is on the horizon is the same as staying ready so you never have to get ready. And I think that this is particularly important today because I don't know why. It feels, maybe just on my side, I'm in Colorado, it feels very similar to, right before everything, maybe during the shutdown of 2020. During the COVID shutdown, everybody was kind of just waiting. There's a lot of waiting games going on. There's a lot of wait and see. Is the housing market going to this? Is the country going to do this? And I think a lot of that's still in the air. So I know a lot of people are waiting. And, I'm in real estate and in a loan officer as well. So obviously I see that on the daily. People are like, well, rates are 6.7. Let's see what happens when they drop down to, XYZ. And I think that that's something that has always rubbed me the wrong way in all areas, in all aspects, in all industries. Because, as I am constantly working on my music and constantly working on acting and being in musicals and in the feature film that I'm in starts shooting on Tuesday, being prepared when nothing's on the horizon is the reason you have a horizon, right? I think if you've ever done this, like if you're an athlete in high school, if you're an athlete in college, and any type of organized athlete, you understand that the call happens when you least expect it. I think in high school, like it's a little different because you have set times of when tryouts are, and you have, set organized schedules way in advance on when you need to reach certain milestones, when you need to reach them. But in general, in the real world, your opportunities come always unexpected. Literally, I would say 99% of the time your opportunities come unexpected, and it's all a chance for you to practice staying ready so you never have to get ready, right? So being prepared when nothing's on the horizon, I think, is another top 10 type of skill set, type of mentality. I think it takes a very particular, hungry, tenacious type of individual who can maintain the same discipline and preparedness when nothing is truly on the horizon, right? Nothing that you can foresee. Because if you take the next 2 weeks and you're like, man, I really want to do, what's something that somebody could do? I want to act, like I just said. And you're like, okay, well, there's no auditions coming up because let's say that the season for auditions, the majority of auditions happen in the January, February season, and you've just missed it. Oh, shoot. They're not going to have audition for the state until next year. And you're like, well, shoot. Okay, well, I guess I can start preparing now for next year. I think a lot of people don't think that way. A lot of people wouldn't start preparing right now for next year. They say, well, typically in the past, it's only taking me about a week or two to maybe, let's say, a month to get prepared for an audition, find my monologues, find my song that I'm going to audition, and then I move forward as such. So I think I'm not going to prepare until December 2025. And I think that that's your average person. And I know saying it out loud, it may strike you as weird, like, who would do that? Like, but if you really look at yourself, I would assume that there's other instances where you reflected the same type of average energy. And I had to pick my words very carefully in that because I don't want to offend anybody. Because it's not a conversation for offending. It's a conversation for revealing and a truthful conversation. So if you are not that type, and you are the type that's like, you know what, I'm going to start preparing now for next year because I really want to ace the auditions. I really want to get to where I want to go. Then you start to realize that what you thought was next year actually might only be a month from now. Might be 3 months from now. Might be 4 months from now. Opportunities come all the time. Opportunities is not like a seasonal thing. Opportunities come when you're ready. So let's say the nationwide season audition for musicals happen in January and February, and they cast the whole shit up. Well, fuck, I really wanted to be in these shows. Then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to start singing, and I'm going to start preparing. I got my monologues going, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden, at the blue, you just scrolling, and recheck the Colorado Theater Guild auditions, and you're like, oh, it looks like somebody dropped out of Romeo and Juliet. And you're like, oh, I've been practicing Shakespeare for the last 2 months. I'm ready. So then you find a random audition of a show that was already cast, but let's say the lead actor, did something or decided he didn't want to move forward for it, and they reposted the audition, and now you're ready. And that's kind of how life in general, in my opinion, has gone. And anybody who I know, and I do know a decent amount of people who are successful, they would say the same thing. That it's never what you think it is, it's always what you don't think it is. So if you are always constantly looking to be prepared, that's also your gauge to see how bad you really want certain things. If you can go the whole year without preparing, without practicing, without obsessing over your craft, without whatever it is that means that you're ready for the audition, if you can go a whole year and not do it, you probably weren't going to get cast if you had made it in January. If you were there in January for the audition, you probably wouldn't have got cast. And if you did get cast, you probably would have done a horrible job because preparation. It's very few positions that are worth anything these days that allow you to not be prepared, that allow you to come in without discipline, that allow you to come in without a solid base or work ethic for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. I think that's the difficult part is when it finally clicks that everything requires discipline. And I'm sure you're on YouTube and you're watching the how to be disciplined video and the importance of discipline. Like I think like a lot of these self-help gurus to a certain degree have it so correct that the foundation of everything that you want in this world is right on the other side of discipline. So if you take that seriously, if you start applying that to the things that you really want in your life, and you really go for it, one, it's going to help you. These are the three things. One, is going to help you really gauge what you want in this world. A lot of people may look at opportunities and say, I really want to be an actor. I really want to be a bodybuilder. I really want to be a real estate agent, whatever it is. And then after a certain amount of time in the grind, because the grind is unforgiving, the goals in money making is unforgiving. You will be exposed if you don't really want this. So in the pursuit of whatever it is that you think that you want, when you really face those uphill battles, you're going to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be like, do I even like bodybuilding? Do I even like real estate? Do I even like whatever it is? Which is what you're after, right? You want to look in the mirror and ask yourself that question constantly. You want to be forced to ask yourself that constantly, because what that does is that reveals who you really are. And that's the whole nature of the game. The entire nature of the game that we are playing is, who are you? What do you want? What are you made of? What are we here to accomplish? What are we here to do? What is your mark going to be in this world? Is your mark going to be community level, nation level, international level, whatever it is? And none of that is better than the other. If you impact 5 people and you change their life, that's just as valuable as Denzel impacting 50 million people. Like, the scale is different in your head because they tell you that the scale is different, but it's not. It's not at all. If you make the best song ever and your family loves it, but no one else in the world gets to hear it, shoot, you did an amazing job. If a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound? Of course it does. If you make a song and nobody hears it, but it's heat and you love it, it's heat and it's worth being loved. So if you take anything from this video, there is so much merit in being prepared when nothing is on the horizon. See you guys next time.